creative, and innovative.
And so well said. I mean, the human capital element and the resource, that is Africa's true gem. Look, whether we like it or not, whether anyone in this room likes it or not, Africa is going to industrialize. Africa is on an aggressive path of industrialization. And that means processing commodities that we normally export. It means a bigger automotive sector. That means bigger carbon emissions because we need more energy for it. And no matter which way you look at this equation, Africa has been finding oil and gas reserves, and many countries are ready to extract. Because if the issue of energy security is not solved, we're going to default to perhaps some of the mistakes that have been made before. Kenya has found oil and gas, 2008. We were hoping to see those extracted in the next few years. What is the balance here between reaching climate goals, but clearly also reaching developmental goals with the resources that Africa has, and not just the renewable ones?
Let me tell you that there is that wrong perception, that's a wrong perception. My position, and Kenya is an example. You know, when I tell people 92% of our grid is renewable, people don't believe it. But that's what it is. It is possible to drive economic growth. It is possible to drive economic growth using renewable energy. In fact, it is the only plausible, it is the only mechanism that is in harmony with our planet.
Okay, so Mr. President, sorry to interrupt. Does that mean you're not going to extract oil and gas? Are you going to put that project aside?
We haven't put as much emphasis because we believe that there is opportunity in renewable energy. We have geothermal resources, 10 gigawatts of geothermal resources. We have exploited only 1 gigawatt. We have huge opportunity. We have huge opportunity in wind. We have huge opportunity in solar. Tell me, why would I invest in energy that damages the only home I have when I have an opportunity to exploit energy that is harmony and that can drive the development that I'm looking for?
So does that mean you're putting aside the oil and gas prospects?
We have oil and gas projects in Kenya, but that's not my focus. We are focused on renewable energy. We are having a conversation with FFI. We're looking at ammonia. I've had my friends discuss hydrogen. Yeah. We're looking at opportunities in hydrogen ammonia. We're looking at opportunities in e-mobility. That is the trajectory. And I would like to persuade those who do not believe the way we do that in the Africa Climate Summit, we made a clear decision that we are going to pursue climate-positive growth, and that is the future. And we believe that it is possible to drive economic growth and at the same time be in harmony with climate by making sure that we use our huge resources in renewable energy.
So Africa is disproportionately affected by climate change. I know that Kenya has experienced debilitating droughts, and East Africa in general as well. Africa is also disproportionately affected by energy poverty as well. And we're talking about development versus energy security. This has been an ongoing conversation. How confident are you that the loss and damage fund that was agreed upon is actually going to come to fruition? And are you hoping for some kind of mechanism on carbon credits?
As part of the conversation we had at the Africa Climate Summit in Nairobi, we agreed on a couple of things as part of our path to climate-positive growth. Number one is, of course, the huge opportunity in carbon credits and carbon markets. And our push will be to create standards and integrity around carbon credits so that we avoid the race to the bottom. That, you know, we get standards, we get real value of what it is that carbon credits are worth, and that we avoid a situation where the prices come down because of standards that are lacking. That's number one. We also agreed that we are going to push the global community for them to look at eliminating barriers on low-emission products and services coming out of Africa. and making sure that we have a fair and equitable market that gives products and services, low-emission products and services from Africa, a fair opportunity into markets globally. And thirdly, we also agreed that capital, how do we work with the credit rating agencies that do not have sufficient information? How do we create more concessional funding so that we can unlock the potential of our renewable energy assets? I was happy to listen to Ajay Banka of World Bank today, and I sympathize with him. I sympathize with Kristalina. They are undercapitalized. They cannot give us the concessionary resources that we require to unlock our potential. And that is why we need a reform of the international financial architecture to remove the unfair rating of Africa as risky, to give World Bank, IMF, and other multilaterals the kind of capital that would give them opportunity to give concessional funding to us so that we can unlock this potential and to eliminate the unfairness that today we go to markets and we pay 5, 6, 7 times more than others. I think that's really...
It's such an important point. And I actually spoke to the World Bank president earlier, and he was actually speaking your praises in terms of what Kenya has been able to achieve. But because I've spoken to so many people and across the continent, we know that we need to industrialize in Africa. That's no question. But can we industrialize cleanly? And the other conversation that comes up, whether I go to Zanzibar, Tanzania, whether I go to Seychelles, or any countries that have prospects for oil and gas finds, they say, Lenny, it's about survival here. We have a right to extract if they're not investing in clean resources and energy. And that there's a sense of hypocrisy. If there's no real decision and sort of headway made by COP28, what do you think African leaders should be doing?
With what I see, renewable energy is 75% cheaper than the alternative.
Yeah.
We can supply energy to the 600 million Africans who do not have it. 30% cheaper if we focus on renewable energy. The challenge we have at the moment is that you need 40% more to invest initially. And that is what becomes an impediment. And then number two, we have the challenge of what I told you, concessionary resources that are not available. And number three, we have the challenge of private money or markets that are rating Africa unfairly. So if we were to eliminate these challenges, it is perfectly the right choice to pursue our development using renewable energy. And we do not have to exploit the other resources, because if we can do it with clean energy, explain to me, why would we want to use energy that is not clean, energy that damages our climate, especially for us who are suffering the brunt of climate change? Kenya, for example, we lost 2.5 million heads of livestock. Yeah. In the Horn of Africa, we lost 9.5 million heads of livestock between Kenya, Somalia, Djibouti, Ethiopia. Do we really want to go there?
No, yeah.
So we must step up, and we must be candid with ourselves. It may look cheaper